Hi everybody, Jason Smith here. Thank you for joining me for this episode of The Truth About Social Ads. I'm an agency owner specializing in Facebook and Instagram ads, and I have dedicated my professional life to helping you learn what others won't tell you about Facebook ads. You know, I believe there's so much information that no one is sharing about Facebook ads and how you can fail and win running ads for your business and when it's time to hire an agency. That's why I'm here bringing ideas and information that can help you run successful Facebook and Instagram ads.
All right, welcome to The Truth About Social Ads. We are here today with the founder of Northbeam.io. Co-founder. Good point. And who is is it just Dan?
Just Dan, yeah.
Okay, cool. So let me finish that intro real quick, Austin. So Austin is the co-founder of Northbeam, which right now is the best solution for tracking Facebook ads and sales with the magic word we're going to talk about on this call, view through, for the iOS update. So anybody listening out there that's struggling and seeing numbers magically disappear in your Facebook Business Manager, this is the podcast for you. So Austin, thank you for being on. I appreciate it.
You got it. Anytime.
Okay, cool. So I'm excited because today, it's funny, you work with people every day, and I actually don't know your origin story. I don't know how you started Northbeam. I just know that it's saving us right now. So actually, let me give you a little intro real quick, because some people listening are going to know what's going on in Facebook. Other people are not. So I want to cue up the problem.
Sure.
And then we'll dive into your story, Austin. So the problem for anybody that is in Business Manager, Facebook Business Manager every day knows the problem. Anybody that maybe owns a business but isn't inside of their Business Manager will want to hear this. So the problem right now, there's a couple in Business Manager is the iOS update kicked in, and now we're seeing the actual effect of it. They rolled it out, and number one, Facebook is using predictive modeling for anything that the customer does after the click. That means we can no longer have accurate data on this ad or this campaign or ad set. Anything after the click, we cannot see accurately anymore. So that would be add to cart, initiate checkout, purchase, the purchase value. All of those things have now vanished. And when you look inside Business Manager, you see these little exponents. And if you hover over it, it says, this is predictive modeling, which essentially means Facebook is guessing because they're losing all this data. That is huge because we make decisions on businesses' ads every day on, all of these data points, which we do not have visibility on anymore inside Business Manager. This is the biggest disrupt in a long time. So Austin's company, Northbeam.io, has provided a solution that can still effectively track purchase past the click and also give us decision-making data on a daily basis so we can spend people's money responsibly and continue having an accurate view. Okay, that's the problem, Austin. So anything you want to add there before we jump into your story?
No, I mean, I think you said it pretty well. I think it's not Facebook's fault, obviously, because what happened with the changes, privacy changes. And the reality is, if I click on a Facebook ad and I don't purchase for, 8-9 days outside of their 7-day window, Facebook loses that, transaction data. Northbeam, we set up, we're a first party data solution. We don't. So if you purchase, 8 days, 9 days, a year from now, we'll still attribute it back to that Facebook ad. So for folks, running Facebook ads, it's critical. Facebook put out an article recently where they recommended third-party tools, for tracking, right? Because Facebook knows, they've got a lot of really smart engineers there. They understand what's going on. And that's why they recommend third-party tools like Northbeam so that we can, on the company's behalf, track transaction data, or like you said, add to carts, other events longer than their window of 7 days.
Yep. And one other huge benefit with Northbeam is, I don't know if it's ready yet, but they will be able to, am I allowed to say this about SMS and text, or is that private? Because I just said it.
Yeah. You just teased it. We're going to announce it. Let's leave it at that. We're going to announce it soon later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's one thing about Northbeam is that they're innovative and, hey, and I don't want to, open this up for everybody to say, hey, add this, but they are adding in and building this in real time. And that's the biggest struggle right now with the iOS update and Business Manager is that things keep happening. Like now, one thing we noticed this week, Austin, you probably noticed this a while ago, but we're seeing a really big change in delayed attribution, right? Because we can still see before the click on Business Manager. For anybody that doesn't understand that, anything that happens on the Facebook platform, we still have full visibility. So budget, spend, clicks, cost per click, CPM, which is the cost to reach 1,000 people. We can still see all of that data. And one way I like to explain it, because we're explaining this to all of our clients right now, is that before websites used to talk to each other, with iOS, they can't do that anymore. So now we have to have a third-party service like Northbeam that stores this, that reaches out to the sites and stores and reports on this data. So Austin, let's talk about your story before we dive in here. So tell us a bit about your background.
Yeah. I mean, I started my career in kind of media buying and analytics. So I helped build the first audience panel for a company called Net Ratings, which is essentially the first rating system for the internet. I ended up going public, was acquired by Nielsen, the ratings company. Yeah. They acquired the rest of it, the last 40% of the company. But yeah, so I always had an interest in analytics, and over the years, just being frustrated with solutions, whether I was an investor or advisor in a company, I'd be on weekly meetings and I was just kind of frustrated with reporting. I thought it was hard to use, particularly around e-commerce. Cause to be clear, and this, at Northbeam, we're focused on e-com, right? Yeah. So that's really our sweet spot. And so, yeah, I just didn't feel like there was an easy solution to quickly make, like you said, optimization decisions around Facebook or Google or TikTok or Pinterest, and understanding the full customer journey and really understanding what do I need to do to scale the business and have a source of truth, even just to check in and know, okay, this is my true blended ROAS, right? And understand, is the business trending in the right direction, the wrong direction? So really I wanted the source of truth when I was on calls and meetings. So about a little over 2 years ago, I partnered up with Dan, who you obviously know, CTO, who studied machine learning, computer science and math at Stanford. And he saw the problem. He worked in e-commerce as well for a company called M. Taylor. And, we really realized we wanted to solve this problem. And to be clear, it's really hard to solve. I mean, this, we've been at it. You've watched us. Just every month there's something new we have to tackle. So yeah, it's not an easy thing to do, and you can't just whip up a solution. So we've been at it for 2.5 years, and we're we really feel good about where we are today, because you've seen us along the journey, and it's exciting to be here where we are today.
And tell us a little bit about Dan. He was top of his class at Stanford, and I always make sure. I actually didn't know what machine learning was until a year or two ago. And then when I learned what it was, I was like, dang, that's big stuff. So explain Dan and machine learning.
Yeah. So, Dan's background, he studied math and computer science at Stanford, and he did his honors thesis with a great professor. His name's Andrew at Stanford. And yeah, really machine learning is building algorithms to find signal, right? So we're trying to look at data sets and find signal that's important for a business, right? And, Dan was doing that at Twitter, where he was essentially trying to understand what was trending early on. So looking at data and trying to find, signal in the noise. And that's what we do at Northbeam, right? Is we're trying to be, the market leader and looking at all your data and finding the appropriate signal, whether that's which single Facebook ad in a campaign is performing best, or is my email sign up rate dropping? Are people not signing up for emails as much as they used to? All sorts of signal. We're trying to find the signal that helps someone who owns an e-commerce business, look at their data and say, all right, we believe this data. This is a source of truth. This is multi-touch. It's not just looking at a bunch of platforms. And it's really something that an owner, operator, or an agency can look at and say, all right, here's where we're going, right? And believe it or not, that's, it sounds simple, but as there's a lot of inputs, right? And machine learning, you're tracking inputs and then trying to find the signal. But there's a lot of inputs with an e-commerce business, right? Not just paid. There's your Instagram account, the YouTube ads that are not even ads, or your organic YouTube. So there's a lot to keep track of.
And with machine learning, as far as a step back view, not so much just reporting, machine learning essentially, I think this is one component of machine learning, is you have AI, and then machine learning teaches the AI how to behave and what to do. Would that be accurate?
Depends on what you're building, really. It depends on what you're building. I think right now we like to focus just on machine learning, right? Keeping it simple. I think people throw out AI a lot in all facets of business is like a buzzword, but right now most people are focused on machine learning, which is like finding signal in the noise.
Yeah, I was just trying to make it sound bad.
No, I know. We try to be conservative because we see a lot of people just throwing AI out.
Yeah, for sure.
Machine learning is complicated math and finding signal, really.
Okay, cool. So why did you start Northbeam?
Well, I was really frustrated with, looking at e-com businesses from the outside and trying to understand, like, are we investing in Facebook properly? Are we investing in Google properly? Is our business as a whole trending in the right direction in terms of money spent, money earned, right? Including returns. And just like I wanted to keep it really simple, like the ultimate e-commerce speedometer. So like if I'm running a business, I can just look, and it's our overview page, right? Just look, how are we trending day to day, right? Hour to hour. So yeah, that's why I was just frustrated whether I was advising an e-com company or investing in it, just looking at it and going, I don't know what I'm looking at here. And I looked at all the tools in the market, and none of them made it easy for me to understand what was going on. So that's why we decided to build it.
And then I guess the second part of that question is fast forwarding, you guys started this thing before iOS was even announced.
Right.
The iOS update was even announced. Now your solution, at least for our business, and we've looked at, we look because, we have reps at Facebook. So we're way ahead here, knowing that this was coming.
Yeah.
And, we were seeing them try to fight it and not let it happen. And then I remember the week where, our rep was like, it's happening, iOS is happening. Facebook spent $1 billion trying to fight it. It's happening. So that has put you guys into a big previously. And it's funny, Austin, the other day I looked at an account that was operating very well before iOS. And I was just like, why? Why did this change? It used to be so good. You would know how many clicks, how many add to carts, how many leads, you'd know everything. And that is now gone. So my question here is, you obviously are in a kind of a good spot with iOS. How much do you think that's played into your growth?
Yeah, it's definitely part of it. It's, as you know, because, you work with us, but it's definitely a huge part of it. It's not the only part, right? Like, I think some people realize that, if you can have multi-touch analysis and advanced media modeling beyond just touch, beyond click, that's the most important, you need an accurate view of your business, right? And everyone right now is piecing it together, right? And so, obviously we're biased. We think if you use Northbeam, we piece it together for you, right?
Yeah.
But so there's that element of just understanding holistically how your business is doing, and is it really trending in the right direction? That's one thing. Then there's the Facebook iOS change, to your point, where Facebook as its own platform benefits from someone like Northbeam, because we want Facebook to succeed, right? Yep. We want people to spend. I was just in a meeting yesterday where, we're trying to figure out ways to spend more on Facebook. And so Northbeam, our goal is to provide that signal. So obviously if we're needed more for that signal, it's good for us.
Yep. So let's talk about view through and why it's so important. I'm going to cue it up with a story. We had all of our data disappear kind of at once. It just all of a sudden disappeared. And, Dan and Austin were working on it like crazy. And our client was like, we lost all the data. We can't see a true ROAS, and we're freaking out. The client was about to cancel with us. Yeah. And it was really tough because we could not tell them at this point, this is your ROAS. The only way this is your return on ad spend, for anybody that isn't familiar with the term ROAS, return on ad spend. This is your return on ad spend. Couldn't do it. And that week was the week that you guys finished view through.
Yeah.
And you guys, honestly, it went from like, I don't know what it was, a 1.2 to an accurate like 3.5. And, it was a tough battle because, you're messing with people's businesses and their livelihoods. That's what we do. We spend hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars on ads that make business owners money. So the reason I share that story is just to emphasize anybody who's in Business Manager knows what I'm talking about. They already know, right? But tell us how view through works. And I know that's a loaded question.
Yeah.
But give us a snapshot of what view through is and how it works with Northbeam.
Yeah, sure. I mean, to be clear, every business is different, right? We have some businesses where on a click basis, they do really well on Facebook and then view through is a part of it. So to make it clear, someone views something on Facebook, doesn't click, but then pulls up a browser, goes directly to the website, converts. So we find like a lot of companies that run a lot of video, right? Maybe that people don't click, but they just go to the site versus like a quick call to action. Depends on what you're running and the business. But to your point, like if you're a business where people don't click as much, right? Where they just visit later, they go direct, they decide to search on their desktop versus their cell phone. Like the click-through data will not tell the story of the ROAS, return on ad spend, for your Facebook spend. So what Northbeam does is we use our machine learning to model out what the uplift of the Facebook efforts in your business, like what they are. Now, to be clear, of course, it's not exactly 100 to 100%, but we know from analyzing the data across multiple clients that it's directionally accurate. So as a business, you can scale, to your point, right? Because if you're just looking at clicks, you won't see your return on your true ROAS, right? So that's what we do. So our goal is to analyze all of your data and really understand, okay, what's the uplift that Facebook's driving for your business?
Yeah. And just to give an example, a lot of our clients also spend on Google. And one thing that's hard for us as a Facebook, Instagram only ad agency, right, is clients will pull up their Google Analytics, right? They'll pull up, GA and they'll look at, I'll say, well, GA says that Google made 60 grand and you made 5 grand. And we're just, forehead on hand, like, oh my gosh, and then before when things function, we'd be looking at the Facebook dashboard and we'd be going, you're at a 6 ROAS, 8 ROAS. But Google essentially and I'm kind of bashing on Google here, but which we do. We actually have episodes, Austin, talk with our Google partners about why Facebook's better and go back and forth. Google wins in a lot of ways. But anyways, so Northbeam allows us to not only get an accurate snapshot of really how much people are making on Google, right, and also Facebook, and then get an accurate snapshot of what's really going on as far as return on ad spend between the two platforms, which is very helpful for us because we've had clients doubt that we're making them any money. And we send them reporting, we know they are, but Google Analytics is telling a different story. If it touches it, if someone sees something 30 days ago, then they see a Google ad, Google will take full credit for that sale and it makes us look bad. So Northbeam also helps with that. What are some new features? Do you have any that you can talk? Also, hey, do you know why Jason's not on? Let's talk about this real quick.
No, I don't know.
He crashed his dirt bike. We got to tell this story, man.
Is he okay?
He's okay, but I mean,
I don't ride motorcycles.
It's a guy, man. So I'll tell you the story because it's interesting. The audience will find it at least interesting. So he's up, he hasn't crashed his dirt bike. He used to race. He used to race at a professional level. And so he got on his dirt bike in Colorado, close by his place, like way up on the mountain. And he's hauling ass. Hits like when you're going through and there's shadows of trees. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to see actual like bumps and actual, bombs. And he was hauling, hit one, basically instantly snapped both the bones in his wrist. What? His ribs on his handlebar flew over into a tree stump. Oh, so he's going in tomorrow to the surgeon to get his hand looked at. He's going to have to he already has plates in his right hand, I think. Now he's going to get plates in his left hand. And I mean, Jason, he doesn't call his wife and tell her, like, goes to, like, drives himself home. Everybody's like, why are you so calm? He's like, I mean,
yeah,
people don't understand the amount of stressful situations that Jason's been in. Like, if you ever get him to tell stories, it's like insane. Like the amount of stressful situations he's been through. So yeah, then he, next day, hey, I'm taking my daughter to school. I'm like, dude, get some rest, man.
I get some
rest. This is how that guy is, So yeah, he's okay. He's going to be okay. But it was, I mean, dude, you hit a tree stump going, I don't know, 30, 40. I don't know how fast he was going, super fast though.
Wow.
Like one wrong, hit to the head and you're toast, So yeah, he's okay, but he's laid out, man. So that's why he's not on. Otherwise, he'd be on with you.
Oh, I was going to say, geez, yeah, that's scary.
Yeah.
Oh, guy's like alive. Yeah, I'm assuming he's wearing a helmet, obviously.
Yeah, and he told me, I talked to him last night. He's like, yeah, people say I can't afford a $500 helmet. He's like, yeah, you can, because when you have crashes like that, it's your life on the line. And I worked at a motorcycle. Well, yeah, a company that had a motorcycle division. We had a guy go out to lunch, case to jump, brain damage. Like it's brutal. You got to be careful on those dirt bikes, man.
Yeah, they're so scary. In fact, a guy I'm meeting later today, he had a dirt bike accident, busted up his forearm. Yeah, badly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's no joke. So Jason's gonna be okay. I just want to let you know why he's not on. Otherwise, he would be. So let's talk about features. Anything you want to highlight about the platform. Here's a time where you sell yourself, Austin.
Oh man, nothing right now. I feel like we're a good company to really understand your e-commerce business. Obviously, do Facebook attribution, but also attribution for everything, right? So for Google, for Snapchat, for Pinterest, for YouTube, like really understand what's driving your business forward. That's what we try to do. We try to help people that are trying to build their business and want a source of truth and to believe kind of the numbers they're getting so that they can make decisions, right? It's hard. It's hard to scale your business, right? And so we just want to help.
Yep. And, one thing I will emphasize is this used to not be necessary, but just for anybody listening and kind of seeing what this means on a day-to-day basis, if there's an agency listening or a business owner listening, we now all of our ads managers now have basically two screens. They have one with Business Manager where we look at the data before the clicks. And then they have one with Northbeam where they make decisions. They say, how is this ad performing? How is it doing? So we now use Northbeam on a day-to-day basis. It's now an integral part of our agency. And honestly, like, this is no joke. It has saved us. Like, I don't know what we would be doing without Northbeam. I think we would be having to pull all these crazy manual reports daily. I don't know. I mean, for smaller accounts, it's doable. For bigger accounts, it becomes near impossible without a full data team to do all this manually. Northbeam solves that problem. So, and it's funny, Austin, because I think about my friends that are doing ads and stuff. And, I don't mean this in a predatory way, but we now get hit up like twice a day. People going, hey, business, how do I do this? Facebook ads have now become so complex that a lot of smaller agencies, they don't know what to do. And it's becoming a really difficult landscape. It's becoming a really difficult thing to do. So Northbeam has essentially stepped in and become the North Star. I get that's funny, the Northbeam, the North Star of what we do in decision-making every single day. And one of the awesome parts about it that I will touch on as far as the features, it goes back. We can go back 6 months and see data. We'll have this data. It lasts. It goes on. So we're now more informed with data than we were before iOS because of Northbeam. So anything else you want to throw out there, Austin? I think we covered everything, and anybody listening, I think, will get the idea and understand how important it is to have, essentially Northbeam, because that's what we use.
No, I appreciate it. Thanks for the time. I mean, I think, we started the company to help people, help people scale. So we're glad that we're working with you all and helping you. And we've got small businesses we're helping, and we've got clients who are going to spend $250,000 a day on Facebook.
Yep.
A day. Right. So,
and you guys actually started in the larger realm, right? With larger spending clients. Is that accurate or no?
I would say we started with both. I think. And I think, but we want to help small companies too, right? I mean, originally when we started Northbeam, we're like, how do smaller companies compete with bigger companies? Because bigger companies have giant data science teams. They've got unlimited, they can afford to like blow money, right? Yeah. But smaller companies really have to be careful, right? So the truth be told, we started Northbeam, we wanted to help SMBs, right? Small, medium-sized businesses, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we really want to help those folks is the goal.
Yeah. And yeah, I'm glad you said that, because they don't just help large businesses. I guess before, it's exactly what you said. Before, larger businesses have the budget to spend, get teams of people and a ton of different software solutions. Now we use it even for smaller businesses. So this is not something that excludes smaller businesses. This is not something that you can't do if you're a small business. In fact, once someone starts taking their business serious, let's say they're spending $5,000 to $10,000 on Facebook and they want to grow, those are the businesses that need this data. I mean, everyone does, but once you get to that level on Facebook, which is the starter point, this data becomes absolutely necessary. And then it just helps you grow and make good decisions on where to spend and what's working. So we help big companies too, obviously, right? Because like they have to make, if they spend $10,000 an hour, if they're spending a lot of money, they need visibility too. So everyone needs it. For sure. Yep. All right. Well, Austin, thank you for being on. You guys, if you're interested in checking out Northbeam, if you have questions, feel free to hit us up. Or Austin, where can people find you?
Just austin@northbeam.io.
Ooh, you gave out the email.
I've seen people people try to be fancy. I'm just like, that's my email.
Oh, so good. All right, Austin, I appreciate it. Thanks for being on, and we'll talk to you, I'm sure, later today.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Hey, thanks so much for listening to The Truth About Social Ads. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. Please visit our website at truthaboutsocialads.com for show notes and additional episodes. And if you have time, please subscribe to the podcast and please consider rating and reviewing the show if you enjoyed it. That will help other people find us. By the way, I would love to hear from you. Please send me an email at jason@spotlightsocialllc.com with your feedback, questions, or a topic you'd like me to talk about on the show. If you send me a question, maybe I'll read it on the show. See you later. Bye.